Well, good Wednesday to you. The new data coming in on this really intense storm starting to come together, plus the Storm Prediction Center already hashing out an area here from Iowa, Illinois, further to the south. You can see where the significant risk is located across Memphis, St. Louis, Evansville, Springfield, Illinois. It does include Chicago, but of course the strongest risk is for a lot of Illinois, down into Kentucky, West Tennessee, West Kentucky, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama. Now, the main threat will be strong damaging winds. I think that cannot be overlooked. I was reading some discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. It's going to be a huge deal. Plus, we're going to be dealing with quite a bit of tornadoes. I think that will be a risk much further to the south. The further north you get, you're just a little bit too cool here. But I was looking at some of the data here in the mid-levels. This jet streak is really potent. You've got a negatively tilted trough, which is leaning back to the west. These are some of the textbook ingredients for severe weather. And guys, I look back to, thinking about back when I was studying severe weather in some of my synoptic meteorology class, specifically your thermodynamic meteorology class, when you dig into the ingredients of what creates a super or a really severe weather outbreak. This is it. Okay, this is something you would look for, and now you're looking to the front right side of this extremely strong jet streak, which will be swinging through Oklahoma and Missouri. The front right side would be in this region. I do think that there's going to be a risk for strong straight line damaging winds with a line of thunderstorms, and embedded in that line, I think there's going to be some tornadoes. The further south you go, you're going to get more supercells out ahead of your main line, more likely as you get more unstable air, warmer air, and also just I guess that would be the thing, the more instability in this region. That continues to streak off to the north. Again, the Storm Prediction Center highlighting this area, but I don't think that tells the complete story until you pop over to their probabilistic outlook, where they have, again, hashed this area out. And when you see these hashes, this tells you that it's a significant risk. So something to watch for as this new data comes in and we look at this new information. The severe risk isn't over, though, as we head through Friday into Saturday. Again, timing this out, this will be Friday into Saturday. It'll be a nocturnal threat for some areas at night, and then across the deep south. This could be a really strong situation for some storms here and as far north, all the way up to Lake Erie, northern Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Virginia. And then as we move into Saturday, this pushes toward the coast. Let's dig into some of these details, and we'll talk about where the storm is going. We're going to also dive into a regional outlook for all of you. So we're going to go through the entire country today. We're starting off on Wednesday, which is quiet. I say this with the utmost, I would say I'm trying to be conservative and not, I can't stand thumbnails or folks that come out and say, it's the end of the world, get ready now, it's the strongest storm of our lives, and now we're going to, it's going to be a severe weather outbreak. What I'm trying to say is now's the time to prepare. Clearly, with straight line damaging winds, strong thunderstorms, you could have power outages. And yeah, they'll be widespread, but the thing is, it's better to be prepared than not. So now's the time to get ready. You may end up seeing some power outages. There's going to be some severe weather today, too, across parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, which we'll dive into. But this is a look at the big picture. These showers move east, and here comes your huge storm in the west. This is the player on the table that's going to cause huge snow across the west, in the order of 2 to 3 feet in some areas, especially into the mountains. And then this moves east. The Wasatch, we've already got winter storm watches up here for snow that could be in that 2 to 3 feet range, way up into the mountains and even into the Sierra. Winter storm warnings in effect, and there's your low developing and your thunderstorms out ahead of this with cold air moving in behind it. Now, I will tell you, the snow doesn't look as impressive to me on the early morning run of the GFS. Even last night's run, the snow's not there, but it's going to be extremely windy here, so just a little bit of snow could really blow around and cause problems. Now your severe weather threat moving east as we move through Saturday, and I think this is interesting, and this is going to get probably a little bit less attention. It's going to be this wave of low pressure that moves up along our front as we head into Saturday. That's going to ripple some heavy rain back here into Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, Georgia, and out ahead of this, we're going to get another line of severe weather developing as we head into Sunday. This moves off to the east, some colder weather moves in, and we're looking at another storm pushing into the Pacific Northwest. Let's dig into some of these details a little bit closer to home for you, wherever you are on this Wednesday. A few light rain and snow showers here across the Northeast will be moving through late tonight, at least some clouds increasing Otherwise, kind of dry here for the next couple of days. The rain holds off until the weekend, until we get around Saturday. High temperatures south of Pennsylvania, warm here into the 70s across West Virginia, parts of North Carolina. But we'll be stuck in the 20s and 30s across northern parts of the Northeast. New York City, Boston, at least New York, getting into the upper 40s. Boston may be stuck in the lower 40s, maybe even 30s in some areas. Further to the south, looking dry here on this Wednesday, with high pressure holding on, bringing in some warm air here, keeping us above average temperature-wise. Here comes the thunderstorms as we head into late tonight, into Thursday, pushing east into parts of Tennessee and Kentucky, also into Georgia. This is a relatively weak system compared to the next one, which will really start to move in as we head into Saturday. So timing some of this out, you can see these storms developing somewhere here, I think in West Missouri and Iowa. You'll start to see that really Friday afternoon, Friday evening. This is the timestamp above my head would be Eastern time. So you get the idea. Around 7, 8 o'clock at night, you're going to see these storms moving through central Missouri. Again, timing could vary just a little bit. It's Wednesday. We're talking about Friday. So now we're looking at an overnight threat for parts of Illinois, down into Arkansas, Missouri, also into Mississippi. Once this continues off to the east, because it will be night, thankfully it will help some, but there's a lot of dynamics that heading into Saturday morning. Now we're developing this area of low pressure here. Big storms could push all the way up into Ohio, Pennsylvania, with some damaging winds possible with that, maybe even some tornadoes. But the big tornado threat, I think, at this point looks to be on Friday. Temperatures across the south also, look at this. I mean, really warm, even up into Illinois and Indiana, up into the 70s today. All right, further to the north, as we move through Wednesday, not looking bad. Into Michigan, Wisconsin, back into parts of Minnesota. We could see a little bit of snow back into Minnesota as some warm air tries to lift north, but it's not a huge deal. A lot of that moves into Canada, and then we shift over to rain, and our low really starts to develop as all the dynamics come together. The limiting factor for severe weather, the further north you go, don't get me wrong, there's going to be a tremendous amount of wind shear in the atmosphere. That's that change of wind direction with height. Because of that, even with low-topped thunderstorms, without the instability, without that thing to really trigger the storms, I still think across Wisconsin, parts of even Minnesota, that severe risk on the table. Further to the south, clearly much stronger here. And now we're moving into Saturday. All of this pushing east. Strong winds around this too. I've not talked about that. Out ahead of the storm, a tremendous amount of non-thunderstorm winds. So it's going to be breezy, windy, and now it's going to be rainy and heavy rain moving north through this region heading into Sunday too. So really kind of a 1-2 punch. Your severe weather rolls through heading into Saturday, or at least your chances. And look at this, more rain as our low, a second low develops along the front. Temperatures here today, colder the further north you go, but look, some warm air really trying to encroach and move north as that southerly flow develops. Now, today, there is the risk of some severe weather across parts of the southern central United States, down here toward Oklahoma, into East Texas, cities like Texarkana, north up to Little Rock. You got to watch this here. There could be some strong storms this afternoon into the evening hours. Tornado risk, certainly not off the charts. It's not a zero threat, but there could be a few isolated tornadoes as these storms move through, heading into tonight and then into late night into early Thursday morning. Thunderstorms start to initiate out ahead of this weak low here, moving through North Texas, heading into the evening hours across East Texas into southeast Oklahoma, and then going as we head through the evening hours into Arkansas, Louisiana, and then those weaken late tonight. Still, some severe risk as it moves into parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, West Tennessee, and Kentucky, but certainly weaker than what we're seeing across Oklahoma, East Texas, and into Arkansas today. All right, temperatures across Texas warm into the upper 80s in some cases, even upper 70s across a good chunk of Oklahoma, and then still warm all the way up into Nebraska. We're still in the 60s here, also into Missouri. Further north, again, a little bit of light precipitation across North Dakota, moving east into Minnesota, north into Canada. Otherwise, we're looking at this huge low that is developing. Big winds start to pick up. Some snow possible into the Dakotas. Again, this doesn't look as snowy as it looked maybe back a couple of days ago. Nonetheless, again, strong winds, some snow could cause some blizzard conditions at times, and then this moves off to the east. As it does so, we could see a quick shift to some snow across parts of Minnesota with some wind blowing around. regardless of how much snow you see, with all of that wind, I think that's just going to be the greatest impact, and then some drier weather with a little bit of precipitation possible by early Monday. Temperatures colder across the north. Once we move into Thursday, as our low starts to wrap up, we pull some warmer air north heading into Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Look at that. I mean, we're pushing into the 70s across parts of Minnesota. I don't know. That seems a little warm to me. Models might be overdoing the warmth. We'll see on that. Across the west, big snow into the Sierra. Big wind. Snow could add up to 2 to 3 feet into the highest elevations. It's going this morning. It's going through today. Watch out into the Wasatch, into the northern mountains of Arizona, New Mexico. A foot plus of snow possible. Some of the highest peaks, again, in the higher elevations. I think 2 to 3 feet, especially into parts of the Sierra. And look, it's not over here. More snow moving in as we head into Friday. And then some of that moves into Colorado and Utah as we move into Saturday. Temperatures still relatively warm here. They will be on the way down over the next couple of days. Further to the northwest, big rain and snow going here into the Cascades. The heaviest snow, though, will be across the really southern parts of Oregon, Northern California, into the Sierra of California, down even into Southern California. We're going to get some heavy rain out of this. And this, again, this is the system that's going to be moving east. A lot of dynamics with this. This is impressive looking. And now we're just dealing with, I mean, look at this cold air loft, instability. You're going to see snow showers lingering, especially into the mountains. The upslope areas are just going to get pounded with snow along the coastal ranges. Of course, your valleys where you get your downsloping flow, you don't get nearly as much snow. But look at this, another punch of snow heading into Friday evening, into the Sierra, into the Cascades. And then more snow this weekend and rain, heavy rain. It shifts out of California and it moves into the Pacific Northwest, with this snow pushing into Washington and into Oregon. Temperatures today into the afternoon, relatively warm, but again, as I've said for the last couple of days, they will be on the way down as we head into Friday and into Saturday, with highs, you can see, much colder than what we've seen recently. So that's what we're looking at across the west, and of course your snow totals dotted into the mountains. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're brand new, if you're just coming over, if you're just catching the live feed, there's a full recap. You can rewind it. You can watch it. You can come back. I hope you will. I'm Travis. If you're brand new, I used to be a chief meteorologist years ago, forecasting this stuff. Again, I'm not a huge fan of severe weather, not meaning I don't like to forecast. It just means I hate this stuff. I mean, it's horrible. But again, as I said earlier, now's the time to get ready. The Storm Prediction Center already highlighting these areas, especially here into the central U.S. If you look at this map in particular, I think it doesn't tell the full story to just look at your 1 through 5 scale. When you start to look at some of the nuances, they've hashed these areas out, and that's a significant risk for severe weather. And that includes Memphis, Nashville, St. Louis, Birmingham, Little Rock. You see where it is. Prepare now. Get ready. Strong damaging winds, tornadoes, all weather hazards on the table. And regardless of where this storm goes, it's going to be a huge wind maker. See you next time.